Liz here, coming with another video. Now this one is another book review. So yeah, this book is actually a Western kind of romance, takes place on a ranch. And yeah, I figured I would wear one of my Western hats, and yeah, I hope you like it. Let me know in the comments if you like this hat. I do actually have a few Western hats myself. I've got one that's like pink, purple, and white. I've got this one that's blue and white, and with a black band, of course. I've also got a black one, and I've also got just like a solid, just like a solid white one, and I've also got a brown felt Western hat. Anyways, I love country music myself, and I also remember, going to farm camp when I was younger, and I loved riding. Honestly, there's so many days that I feel like I'm going through saddle withdrawal. I really want to get back up on a horse. That'd be amazing. The best thing ever. Yeah, honestly, we, back at farm camp, we had this horse named Rusty. And we like to call him like a magic 8-ball type horse. Like, you would actually go up to a stall and you would ask him a question. He would answer. He'd be like, yep, or nope. Or he'd do both, and I'd be like, I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, like, honestly, my favorite genres of books would be, the sports romances or the Western ranch, whatever, small town romances. And then I also really enjoy a lot of the books that are more inspirational or like with a bit of drama, that kind of thing too. Yeah, anyways, this book here is Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope. Now, this book is a story about two people who had grown up together their whole lives. And so, yeah, the one person was Cecilia Ray, and she went by Cece, and Nash. And so Cece had left her small Kentucky town, and went to Seattle with her boyfriend and fiance, I should say. But then she ended up catching him, with another girl. And yeah, and needless to say, when that happened, when she found her fiance cheating on her, she went back home to her small town, and it was called Laurel Creek in Kentucky. It's a small town there. And yeah, and then also the other main character, the male main character, which was Nash Carter, he, as I said, grew up with Cece and Cece's brothers, and then he went off and he had a career in the NHL, and then he came back home to Laurel Creek, and he decided to put forth some roots. And in some ways, Nash felt like Cece was off limits because her family was almost like his family too. And, and also too that he was best friends with her brothers. And there's just a whole lot of history in general. And also too, Nash, he had a lot of heartbreak and a lot of pain, and often had bad dreams and that kind of thing. And because when Nash was young, he was at like a high school age, and he was on his way to a game, and he was worried, and he was like, they were rushing. He was worried about, that he was going to be late for the game. And his parents ended up getting hit by a drunk driver on the way to the game, and then unfortunately his parents ended up dying in front of him. So due to that, he had a lot of trauma and a lot of heartbreak and trouble and a lot of nightmares, and he had some PTSD. And Cecilia's family ended up taking them under their wing. And also to not long before this book starts, Cecilia Ray has lost her dad. He died of cancer, and so that was one reason why she'd been back in her hometown, was to go to the funeral and to help, go visit her dad while he was ill. But, so in a way, they both tried to fight the romance that was budding. And, eventually they just couldn't fight it any longer, and they were falling for each other. And I feel like sometimes, your Mr. Right might be the guy you think is going to be your Mr. Wrong, but, it's just meant to be. And definitely Cecilia Ray, aka Cece, and Nash, they were just perfect for each other. They were meant to be. They fit together like peanut butter and jelly, or fish and chips, that kind of thing. And it's just like things that just go together like nothing else. And so yeah, I mean, and like, so of course when there's an attraction that's strong, when there's a force that's strong that's pulling you together, you can't help it, right? And so it ended up that when they finally gave in to that attraction and everything, they just, let things be, and they tried to have their real relationship. And, I really enjoyed this book, and it was amazing to see the dynamic between Cece and her brothers and mom, and and her niece and everything like that, and her friends, and everyone like that from her hometown that she'd for like 8 years of her life when she moved to Seattle, and of course when she moved back home, it's like they just picked things up again. And they were like the best. They were like, it was meant to be. And like they had to, it was like no time was lost in a way. So honestly though, this was my first book I've ever read by Paisley Hope. This novel, Holding the Reins, was a Silver Pines novel. So this is actually a series by Paisley Hope. And I also loved how throughout the book, the phrase holding the reins, it came up numerous times when they're talking about, Cece's dad and something that they'd said, some advice, and just in general, it's like, you're holding the reins, and, just take things as they come, but be sure to be, to be strong, and, just do the best you can. And, it's like, Nash would say to Cece, I'm just with you, but you're holding the reins. And, the phrase was played over and over throughout the novel. And it was just amazing how it was intertwined. And, I love when a story is like that, or like a song, where it's like incorporated in the song some way in like that. And yeah, I mean, honestly, this is a great book. I'm actually looking forward to reading some of the other books in this series. And I'm really glad I checked this book out. So this book was actually one of the books I got during the Black Friday sales at Indigo. And it was 2 for $20. So I don't remember what else was in that same price point. But I didn't see anything else by Paisley Hope at that price. One thing I love too is that Paisley Hope, she is actually Canadian as well. So I mean, if you want to know a little bit about the author, Paisley Hope is an avid lover of romance, a mother, a wife, and a writer. Growing up in Canada, she wrote and dreamed of one day being able to create a world where readers could immerse themselves, a place they wished was real, a place they saw themselves when they envisioned it. She loves her family time, gardening, baking, and yoga, and a good cab sauv. And yeah, so honestly though, I do have a couple of other Paisley Hope novels that I've taken out as an ebook from my library. I'm looking forward to reading those as well. But they're not part of the same series. And honestly, I would say I would give this book a 5 out of 5. I'm psyched. Like, I want to read the rest of the series. I want to read more of her books. And I feel like, honestly, this book it was an enjoyable, fast-paced, but not too fast-paced read. Where you just like sit there and you wanted to keep going. Anyways, yeah, let me know in the comments as well if you've read any books by Paisley Hope. And let me know also if you love horseback riding, or if you love animals in general, or, you know, being on a farm. You know, one time as well, someone had once said to me, you know, like, what smells give you comfort? And honestly, I said to them at one point, like, vinegar, because I mean, it just brings me back so many good memories from when I was on the farm, when I was at farm camp. And I honestly, as I said, I can't wait to go back riding again soon. But as it is for now, I do really enjoy reading Western romance books. And I also really enjoy watching TV shows and movies like that as well. Thank you again so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, take care. Bye, guys.